the golden age of Hollywood. Glittering premieres, huge movie sets and legendary stars. But behind the scenes, there was a whole other world. What if I told you that the most famous stars of that era had bizarre addictions and obsessive collections that no one knew about? Collections that some of them were truly mind-boggling. One actor never took off his Dracula costume, while another lived in a mansion full of exotic animals. Isn't it really incredible? Here are Hollywood's strangest addictions and collectors. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando, one of Hollywood's most revered actors, was known not just for his revolutionary performances, but also for his deep fascination with exotic animals. While his roles in A Streetcar Named Desire, The Godfather, and Apocalypse Now cemented his place in cinematic history, his personal life was equally captivating. Brando had a profound love for wildlife, particularly exotic species that he kept as pets. During his years in Tahiti, he surrounded himself with nature, living in an environment where he could coexist with the animals he adored. His estate was home to a variety of creatures, including parrots, monkeys, and even a pet raccoon, which he would let roam freely. Brando's affection for animals was an extension of his rebellious personality. He rejected Hollywood norms, preferring the company of untamed creatures over the artificiality of stardom. His relationships with humans were often turbulent, but his bond with animals remained unwavering. As he aged, Brando became more reclusive, withdrawing from the public eye and retreating to his island paradise. Even in his later years, he was known to befriend stray animals and care for them with the same tenderness he rarely showed to people. His love for wildlife was a testament to his complex character, at once a fierce icon of masculinity and a deeply sensitive soul who found solace in nature rather than fame. While his career and personal life were filled with dramatic highs and lows, his connection to animals remained one of the few constants in his extraordinary life. Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi, the iconic actor best known for his role as Dracula, had a deep attachment to his stage costumes, particularly the legendary cape from the 1931 film. Unlike other actors who left their roles behind after filming, Lugosi embraced his vampire persona in real life. It is said that he frequently wore his Dracula costume even in his private life, finding a sense of identity within the character that made him famous. He often made public appearances dressed as the Count, delighting fans who believed he truly embodied the role. His love for the character went beyond performance. He reportedly kept the cape and other film props as his most treasured possessions. As his career declined and he struggled with typecasting, Lugosi's connection to Dracula became even stronger. Sadly, he faced financial troubles and health issues in his later years, battling morphine addiction and fading into Hollywood obscurity. However, his devotion to his most famous role never wavered. In a final, eerie tribute to the character he played so well, Lugosi was buried in his Dracula cape, forever linked to the vampire legend he helped define. Jane Mansfield. Jane Mansfield, one of the most glamorous stars of the 1950s, was famous for her bold personality, hourglass figure, and love for all things pink. Unlike most Hollywood stars who showcased their wealth through jewelry or cars, Mansfield took her obsession with pink to another level. Her lavish mansion, famously called the Pink Palace, was decorated entirely in shades of pink, from the carpets to the bathtub. Even her car, a Cadillac convertible, was custom-made in a vibrant pink hue. Her love for the color extended to her wardrobe, accessories, and even her pets. Her poodles were dyed pink to match her signature aesthetic. Mansfield's dedication to her pink paradise wasn't just a personal preference, it was a marketing strategy that reinforced her over-the-top image. She posed for countless publicity photos surrounded by pink decor, embracing the persona of a real-life Barbie before the doll even became a cultural icon. Though her career eventually declined and she tragically passed away in a car accident in 1967, her legacy as one of Hollywood's most eccentric and flamboyant stars remains. Her pink-obsessed lifestyle still fascinates fans, proving that Mansfield's glamorous world was just as colorful as the woman herself. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, Hollywood's quintessential swashbuckler, was more than just a charming rogue on screen. He was a real-life adventurer with an intense passion for the sea. Best known for his roles in films like The Adventures of Robin Hood and Captain Blood, Flynn spent much of his fortune indulging his love for sailing and maritime history. He owned several yachts throughout his life and often set sail for long voyages, escaping Hollywood's spotlight for the open ocean. His fascination with seafaring extended to collecting antique maritime equipment, including old ship compasses, navigational tools, and rare nautical charts. Flynn was particularly obsessed with historical sea maps, believing they held secrets of lost treasures and forgotten adventures. His collection included intricate models of classic ships, and he enjoyed discussing naval strategy and history with fellow enthusiasts. Despite his rebellious nature and scandalous reputation, Flynn found a sense of peace on the water, away from the chaos of Hollywood. As his career declined, he spent more time sailing, retreating to the high seas whenever he could. Though remembered for his daring film roles, his true passion lay in the world of maritime exploration, where he felt most at home. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, one of Hollywood's most enigmatic and elusive stars, had a secret passion beyond the silver screen. She was an avid collector of rare and antique books. Best known for her roles in Camille and Grand Hotel, Garbo cultivated an air of mystery both in her films and in real life. While she famously shunned the public eye, preferring solitude over stardom, she found solace in literature, particularly in philosophy and classic literature. Her personal collection contained rare editions of works by Nietzsche, Goethe, and Shakespeare, as well as obscure philosophical texts that reflected her deep introspective nature. Unlike many Hollywood stars who flaunted their wealth with flashy possessions, Garbo's prized treasures were tucked away in her private library. She often spent hours reading, immersing herself in the wisdom of past generations. Her love for books was a reflection of her reclusive nature. She preferred the company of ideas over people. As she withdrew from Hollywood in the 1940s, she dedicated more time to her literary pursuits, finding peace in the pages of her vast collection. Even in her later years, Garbo remained a solitary figure, but those who knew her understood that behind her enigmatic silence was a woman deeply engaged in intellectual exploration. Vincent Price. Vincent Price, the legendary actor known for his chilling performances in horror films, had a passion that was far removed from the dark and eerie worlds he portrayed on screen. He was a devoted art collector and enthusiast. Unlike many Hollywood stars who simply invested in art for status, Price was deeply knowledgeable about the subject, developing a vast collection of modern art, sculptures, and rare pieces. He was particularly drawn to surrealist and avant-garde works, appreciating the unconventional beauty of artists like Salvador Dali and Pablo Picasso. His love for art wasn't just a private interest. He actively promoted art appreciation among the public. In the 1950s, he even collaborated with Sears to create the Vincent Price Collection, a program designed to make fine art accessible to everyday Americans. Price also donated a significant portion of his collection to East Los Angeles College, ensuring that future generations could appreciate the masterpieces he had spent a lifetime acquiring. Though he was best known for his sinister screen presence, in reality, Price was a refined intellectual who found true joy in the world of art. His passion for creativity extended beyond acting, solidifying his legacy not just as a horror icon, but as a dedicated patron of the arts. Mae West. Mae West, Hollywood's queen of wit and seduction, had a fascination with the elegance of the past. She was an avid collector of Victorian-era furniture. Known for her bold performances and scandalous one-liners, West contrasted her provocative image with a deep appreciation for 19th-century craftsmanship. Her home was famously adorned with luxurious antique pieces including ornately carved wooden chairs, velvet-upholstered sofas, and massive chandeliers that reflected the grandeur of the Victorian age. She had a particular fondness for extravagant headboards, with one of her most famous pieces being a lavish, gold-trimmed bed that once belonged to the French aristocracy. Unlike many celebrities who embraced modern trends, West found comfort in the intricate details and romantic designs of the Victorian period. Her passion for antique decor extended to her film sets, where she often requested period-appropriate furnishings to match her personal aesthetic. Even in her later years, when Hollywood had moved on to younger stars, West remained surrounded by the elegance of her carefully curated collection, living in a world that reflected the opulence and drama of the era she so admired. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper, the embodiment of the all-American cowboy in Hollywood's golden age, had a lifelong fascination with historical firearms. The star of High Noon and countless other westerns, Cooper's love for antique weaponry was more than just a hobby. It was a connection to the rugged frontier spirit he so often portrayed on screen. His collection featured an impressive array of antique pistols, rifles, and muskets, many of which had historical significance. Cooper was particularly drawn to 19th-century firearms, including Colt revolvers and Winchester rifles, symbols of the Old West he helped immortalize in film. Unlike some collectors who simply displayed their pieces, Cooper enjoyed learning about their history, often researching the origins of each weapon and how it was used in different time periods. He even practiced shooting with some of his antiques, maintaining the same sharp aim that made him a believable gunslinger in his films. Though he was a Hollywood legend, Cooper never lost his admiration for the craftsmanship and legacy of the weapons that defined the American frontier. His collection was more than just memorabilia. It was a tribute to the history he so passionately brought to life on screen. Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich, the German-born screen goddess known for her sultry voice and androgynous style, had a deep appreciation for fashion history, particularly her own. Unlike many stars who parted ways with their costumes after filming, Dietrich was known for keeping the extravagant outfits she wore throughout her legendary career. From shimmering, feathered gowns to sharply tailored suits, her wardrobe was a testament to her unique and timeless sense of style. Dietrich understood the power of clothing as an extension of her persona, and she treated her costumes as valuable artifacts rather than disposable props. Her collection included pieces designed by renowned couturiers like Christian Dior and Edith Head, each outfit meticulously preserved and catalogued. She took great care in storing her costumes, ensuring that they remained in pristine condition for decades. Some of her most iconic pieces, including the tuxedo that challenged gender norms in Morocco and the glamorous sequined gowns she wore on stage, became part of exhibitions celebrating her impact on fashion and film. Even as she retreated from Hollywood, Dietrich remained devoted to her collection, recognizing that her carefully curated wardrobe told the story of a woman who redefined glamour on her own terms. Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, the legendary businessman and filmmaker, struggled with severe obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. As he aged, his phobia of germs intensified to extreme levels. He was known to handle objects only with tissues, avoid physical contact with others, and even refuse to wear clothing for long periods. His paranoia about contamination led him to live in darkened rooms, communicating only through written notes. His diet became highly restrictive, and he often stored his urine in jars, a testament to his deteriorating mental state. One of his most infamous obsessions was with the 1968 film Ice Station Zebra. He watched the movie on an endless loop, sometimes playing it for days at a time, convinced that it held some secret meaning. Hugh's reclusive nature worsened, and he became a mystery even to those who worked for him. He moved between luxury hotels, blocking out all sunlight and minimizing human contact. His fingernails grew abnormally long, his body became frail due to malnutrition, and his hygiene deteriorated as he refused medical attention. In his final years, he was barely recognizable, a far cry from the dashing aviator and Hollywood mogul he once was. His tragic decline became a cautionary tale about the devastating effects of mental illness, wealth, and unchecked eccentricity. Despite his brilliance in aviation and filmmaking, Hughes's later life was dominated by his struggles with paranoia and compulsions, ultimately leading to his lonely demise in 1976. Anita Berber. Anita Berber was a mesmerizing figure in 1920s Berlin, known for her scandalous performances and androgynous appearance. A dancer, actress, and poet, she captivated audiences with her daring, often completely nude, stage acts. However, her talent was accompanied by deep self-destruction. Berber was notorious for her rampant drug use, indulging in cocaine, opium, and morphine, which fueled her erratic behavior. She was often seen wearing a bright red dress, carrying a pet monkey, and provocatively displaying a dagger at social gatherings. One of her most shocking habits was drinking a mixture of chloroform and ether, which she would stir in a bowl with a white rose before consuming. Her addiction and reckless lifestyle made her a living spectacle, celebrated and feared in equal measure. Despite her excesses, Berber's influence on the Weimar era's artistic scene was profound. She inspired later avant-garde performers and was immortalized in Otto Dix's famous painting, capturing her haunting beauty and chaotic existence. However, her indulgences took a toll. By the age of 29, her body was ravaged by years of drug and alcohol abuse. She died in 1928, destitute and suffering from tuberculosis. Berber's life remains a symbol of the wild decadence of the Weimar Republic, where art and self-destruction often intertwined in a dazzling yet tragic display. Judy Garland. Judy Garland, the iconic actress best known for her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, led a life filled with immense talent, success, and deep personal struggles. From an early age, she was pushed into the limelight, her natural singing and acting abilities making her a Hollywood favorite. However, behind the glitz and glamour, Garland endured immense pressure from the film studios that controlled her career. She was placed on a strict regimen of amphetamines to keep her energy levels high for grueling filming schedules, followed by barbiturates to force her into sleep. This cycle led to a lifelong addiction that plagued her well into adulthood. Studio executives also criticized her appearance, forcing her to adhere to extreme diets and take weight loss pills to maintain an unrealistic image. The toll on her mental and physical health was devastating. As she aged, Garland struggled with financial instability, tumultuous relationships, and continued substance abuse. Her career saw ups and downs, with moments of triumphant comebacks followed by heartbreaking declines. Despite her struggles, she remained an unparalleled performer, her voice filled with raw emotion that resonated deeply with audiences. Tragically, Garland's demons ultimately won. In 1969, at just 47 years old, she died of a drug overdose, a victim of the industry that had exploited her talents from childhood. Her story remains a cautionary tale about the dark side of fame, yet her legacy endures as one of Hollywood's greatest stars, whose voice and spirit continue to captivate generations. Hollywood stars have always been known for their quirky and unusual personalities, but some of them were really surprising with their passion for collecting. Which addiction do you think was the most interesting? Don't forget to share in the comments. Stay tuned for more Hollywood secrets.